Right, let's have a go at moulding some of these and see if I can recreate the plastic I need. These are the original plates for the end caps, and this is the new one, which has just got a couple of bolts in the back to hold it in the mould, so I'll swap that out. But I've been told that these need to be in black rather than red. The red was originally to match the PCB, but apparently black is okay, so I'm going to run off a few more of these in black before switching to that. I'll probably only do a few dozen of these just to make sure they're fit for purpose. But one issue that I've got to get right is the inevitable mould shrinkage. This one just fits, but it's a bit tight, whereas this one, which is a slightly different material, fits quite nicely. So I've basically got to recreate whatever material this was, and I can't remember the exact formula, but the basic issue, which I can show with these coasters, is if you just run polyethylene, it tends to shrink. It shrinks about 1.5% after you've moulded it. And if you think of this as a series of circles, the outer circle at say 100 millimeters is going to shrink 1% or so. At 50 millimeters it's going to shrink 1%, and at the centre it's going to shrink a very small amount. But basically it's shrinking more on the outside and less as it gets towards the middle, and that of course causes it to turn into a bit of a suction cup. Now you can fix that by adding a softener. So these have got a softener in, and that stops it contracting and shrinking. It's basically just an elastomer, but it's come out as a matte finish. So then I added a third material, which again gets rid of the warping but restores the gloss finish. So I've got to basically recreate that for doing these, but I can't remember exactly what magic formula I used. What I do know is it's some weird concoction of these three. This is just standard polyethylene, so nothing at all special about that. This is ethylene vinyl acetate, EVA, which is quite a soft material. I think this is used as glues and things like that. It's quite a low melting point material. And this is a polyvinyl alcohol, a PVOH, and I think I basically mixed about a third of these and a little bit of master batch, and that hopefully is close enough to the recipe that I used last time that I can produce the same sort of product. So let's just mix a few of these and see how we get on. Right. That's some, and that's about the same, and that's about the same. So that'll do for a start. I only need a few hundred grams to begin with. Give that a bit of a mix and grab a sprinkle of black. That's loads. Right, so that's our mystery meat concoction, and we'll see how it runs. I've run a few off, and the first ones were obviously short shots, but got the hang of that in the end. But I think they're a little bit too flexible, so I've just increased the amount of polyethylene in these, and by the time they've cooled down they're quite a bit stiffer, but importantly they are still fitting over the end, so I think we can probably get away with that. They're not quite perfect. There's a little bit of sinking coming in on these brace pieces on the back, but I was asked to cut those to support the lid, so it's kind of inevitable. But apart from that, I'm getting a pretty glossy finish and a little tiny bit of sinking, but apart from that I think they'll probably do. So get a bit more scientific mixing the material now. The first batch was a little bit made up, but I think if I measure these out just for consistency, so we'll call it 150 grams of high density polyethylene. Zero that, and then let's go 75 of the EVA ish, will do, and then 75 of the PVOH. Not sure which of these makes it go glossy, but I seem to recall I needed to add both. There we go, that's a little bit over, but there we go, that'll do. So that's our fresh concoction. A little bit of black master batch. And then chuck that in the hopper and mould a few more. I've got about 30 odd of them so far, and they seem to fit the aluminium extrusion reasonably well. So one either side, one for the PVC micro bit and one for the breakout with the ribbon cable coming through, but I'll deal with that one later on. And yeah, they're quite shiny and not too bad. A little bit of sinking on the top on some of them, but that's kind of inevitable due to the brace piece on the underside, but yeah, I think they'll probably do. So run off another 50 odd of those and call it a day.